New dog won't stop waking mom, so she starts recording overnight. She pressed her back against the bathroom wall, drawing her knees toward her chest. Sweat lined her forehead and face, trickling down her neck. She held him close, holding his mouth shut that he wouldn't make a sound and give them up to what she'd just seen. She wondered if they would make it to sunrise. Emmeline Richards was a single mom living in Brooklyn, New York. She lived with her daughter, Jenny, who was at the cusp of starting college. For Emma and her daughter, life had been good. Emma's husband, Ron, had passed away some years prior, and Emma raised Jenny independently. Although their home was peaceful, everything would change when they welcomed a new member to their family. Emma and Jenny rescued Bosco from the local animal shelter. Since Jenny was soon starting college, the family decided a dog would keep Emma company. The Richards knew Bosco was the right pup for them immediately when they stepped into the shelter. The dog barked happily at them, wagging his tail as he spun around its cage. Did he choose them as well? Bosco leaped onto his cage to lick Emma's hand, greeting her the only way he knew how. Although the life in his eyes and the energy he exuded captured Emma's interest, one thing made him stand out from the other animals. Bosco was a three-legged golden retriever who'd been rescued from an unsavory home. Emma and Jenny took him home that day, not knowing how much he would change their lives. A few weeks passed, with Bosco joining the Richards as the newest member of their family. His relationship with Emma was nothing if not out of this world. Although she'd been unsure whether she wanted a dog at first, now she couldn't let Bosco out of her sight. Everything was going on well, until one day, trouble came knocking. Bosco slept in Emma's room on a bolster bed Jenny bought as a welcome gift. He would ignore his bed completely on most nights, climbing next to Emma in her bed. One night after Jenny left for college, Bosco shot to his feet and started barking. He'd been right next to Emma's face, so his loud barks hammered her ears, yanking her from her sleep. What she saw made her heart stop. Bosco was standing on the bed. His ears pointed toward the closed door. He let out a prolonged growl, snarling before barking. "What is it, boy?" Emma whispered, her sight glued on the door. Sweat slicked her palms, and she felt it drip down her body. Her heart pounded within her. She slipped one leg out of her covers. Although she didn't want to, she knew she had to investigate. Emma pulled her robe around her shoulders and reached for a bat her late husband always hid in the closet. She sneaked to the door, pulling it open. Although Emma's body was bubbling with fear, she took her first step into the dark hall before her. She reached a lamp and turned it on, sweeping the entire floor with her sight before going downstairs. Emma didn't find anything in her house. She looked at Bosco as he wagged his tail next to her and knelt to him. Emma petted him, wondering if he'd suffered an episode from his last owner or if he'd smelled, seen, or heard something here. She kissed his forehead, trying to rationalize what had just occurred. Her dog had freaked out, barking as if someone was in the house. But she'd found nothing. Then she had a brilliant idea. Emma had an old security camera with night vision somewhere in her room. She could set it up on the stairs and see if there was something in her house. Not knowing what to expect, she quickly fetched a camera and set it up under the stairs railing. She hurried to her room and connected her phone. What she would see would freeze her in place. Some hours passed after Emma set up the camera. Tired of waiting to see if anything was afoot, she dozed off, knowing Bosco would wake her if he heard something. The night was peaceful until Bosco's growl shook Emma awake. She jumped for her phone, clicking on the camera. Bosco began barking, and then she saw it. Fear flooded Emma's veins, flash freezing her body as it powered through her. Her lips quivered, and her limbs refused her commands to move. Bosco began barking, his voice rising by the second. Adrenaline fired through Emma, jerking her body to life. She fumbled with her phone, dialing 911 as she tore toward the bedroom door to lock it. Something rattled outside the door, and the doorknob twisted. Emma backed away until her bed stopped her in place. Bosco's barks had doubled, and he was now on the bed, ready to charge when the door opened. Emma scooped him and ran into the bathroom. She locked the door, sitting against the wall with her hand covering Bosco's mouth. Would they survive until morning? Emma and Bosco sat quietly inside the bathroom. Emma checked her phone, noticing the hall leading to her door was empty. She was glad Bosco had quieted down, as soon as she'd needed him to. Police sirens sang from a distance, and soon enough, police officers flocked to her house. They came and saved her from the bathroom. They explained everything to her when she mentioned what she'd seen on her camera. Unknown to Emma, an escaped convict was hiding in her attic that night. Bosco heard him going down for food when he began barking. The police found him trying to make a run for it when they entered Emma's neighborhood. She remembered the fear that washed through her when she saw him on camera. What would she have done if she hadn't had Bosco to tell her something was wrong?